Hi folks and welcome to what I hope anyway is not going to be this season's last Gersnet European Preview pod, coming to you in association with Forest Precision Engineering and Football Prizes. My name's Alec Anderson. I am acting kind of shady. I'm not calling you baby and I am running game. But the thing is, Mrs. Beyonce, my mum makes all the outfits for the band and you better wear them because my dad's the manager, knows as the game I am running is Rangers against Benfica at Ibrox this Thursday. Kick-off time 17:45 GMT. Govan meantime, a tea time kick-off in the second leg of the last 16 UEFA Europa League tie. An absolute epic with two each from the first leg over in Lisbon last week. Set up beautifully balanced, beautifully poised, as they say on things like TNT and Viaplay and all that kind of stuff. And Michael Stewart jumps in and goes, "It's just no fair." But this is the way it is. Rangers beautifully set up for an absolute epic of a game against an epic club. And Tina Knowles, Beyonce's mum, she makes all the outfits for Destiny's Child, or did make all the outfits for Destiny's Child, for the videos and for their tours and that kind of thing. A bit like Pep Guardiola's wife, the stuff that he wears on the sidelines when you see him in the cameras for Man City. She makes, like, she's got her own fashion range. And it's a bit crap, a bit like Destiny's Child's stuff. I used to watch Destiny's Child, think, Beyonce, she's quite attractive, but why does she look like an absolute tramp? It's because her mum is making the outfits. But why shouldn't she? Why shouldn't she get some? These are the people who are behind the scenes, who are pushing these people forward, making them quadrillionaires. Why shouldn't they get something out of it? And things, her mum split up from her dad. Beyonce's mum, Tina Knowles, she split up from her dad and she married a second time. And the guy she married was a guy called Richard Lawson, who I know because he starred in, or he was a star in the first movie ever directed by my hero, Michael Mann. Michael Mann's first ever movie, a TV movie that he directed in 1979 called The Jericho Mile. It's a prison movie. It's on YouTube. You can watch that. You should watch that. And Richard Lawson was in that and he played a character called Styles. It's spelled with an I, but I thought that was quite she's a style guru. She's a makeup artist, Tina Knowles, and she brought out her own fashion range and that kind of thing. So she's does style, and he's called Style. I thought that was quite a coincidence, or maybe I'm just desperately looking for a coincidence because I need one to replace. I'll need to put one out into the cosmos, into the karmic universe to replace the potential coincidence that's coming up through Nicholas Otamendi. The Otamendi coincidence is still on. Nicholas Otamendi, the Benfica centre-half and captain, who dived like a swan last week. Absolutely pathetic, the big Jesse, to get young Dujon Sterling booked. He, of course, played for Argentina every minute of that epic World Cup final. Probably easily the best World Cup final ever played, if not one of the best games of football ever played in history and stuff like that, when his Argentina beat France on penalties in Qatar in 2022, late on in 2022, barely like 15 months ago. He also won the Europa League. He's playing centre-half for Benfica at Ibrox tomorrow night. He also won the Europa League with Porto. This is back in 2011. Porto won that final, the Europa League final, the second Europa League final. They won it in Dublin's Aviva Stadium, the old Lansdowne Road, where this season's final, you may have heard, is being played. But not only that, Porto that night beat Braga. It's a bit of a local derby. It's kind of localish, bit of a derby, but only recently. But it's two Portuguese clubs playing against each other. Now, although Atalanta drew away to Sporting Lisbon, as we miscall them in this part of the world, Sporting Club de Portugal, as they are known in Lisbon. Although Atalanta drew over there last week, and although we hope that every club who had a away draw last week goes through a stonking performance tomorrow night, there's still the chance that Benfica could play Sporting in this season's Europa League final. That is also at Lansdowne Road / the Aviva Stadium. That would mean Otamendi is on for what must be a unique bit of trivia. He could win the Europa League with two different clubs from the same country at the same finals played at the same stadium, and both those finals against two other clubs from the same country. Absolutely unbelievable. And I just want to make sure that doesn't happen, because that's the kind of stuff that goes through my mind. That kind of historic stuff goes through my mind, and that's why last week's video, preview video for the first leg was far too long. It was like nearly an hour, folks. That's far too much. So I'm going to avoid all the historic stuff this week. If you want to know why Benfica are huge, I just wanted to make sure that fellow Rangers fans knew why this is a fantastic tie for Rangers to be involved in. There's a lot of talk about us, almost we should chuck European football this season to concentrate in the league, and not a bit of that. And I wanted to be able to savour and enjoy the very fact that we're playing Benfica. If anybody out there didn't actually know what Benfica were all about, they've played 7 times in the Champions League final, when it was known as a European Cup final, and only once did they play against a side wearing their home kit, and that's when they beat Barcelona in the 1961 final. They, of course, famously played Manchester United. That was the first European Cup final involving two teams wearing their away kits. And Manchester United beat them 4-1 at Wembley in 1968 after extra time. George Best and Bobby Charlton, all that kind of thing, Brian Kidd. Man United wore all blue, their away kit. And Chelsea also beat Benfica in the 2013 Europa League final. Chelsea were wearing all blue. This was in Amsterdam. Rangers usually wear all blue European ties. It's quite a... So maybe that's it. But I'm not going to do all that historic stuff because that makes the pod go on too long. So what I'll do instead is I'll abuse my position, the platform that I am given, I'm kindly given on Gersnet. I'll abuse that to make a few personal announcements. The first of them is an announcement just to go out to, this is just addressed to some of my colleagues on Gersnet, some of my friends, former colleagues at other jobs, particularly ones that like their football and sat in the canteen talking to me. A lot of members of my family, my dad, especially, uncles, various, and even my wife. It's almost 25 years now that she's been telling me I talk absolute shite every time I say that Benfica's kit, their home kit, isn't quite red. It isn't a normal red. It's a kind of off red. It's almost orangey. She's like, what are you talking about? I'm saying, well, see that programme behind me? That's the first time, the only other time I've seen Benfica live in the flesh. I had to go into Anfield to see them where I had the chance. I got a ticket for that, no bother. So I thought, I'm going to Anfield to see them. They're playing Liverpool in the quarter-final of the first ever Europa League. Europa League's just the Fairs Cup became the UEFA Cup, which became the Europa League. It's the same competition, but the rebranding was 2009, 2010. And that season, the quarterfinals, Liverpool hammered eventually Benfica. I'm doing that, but Benfica wearing their away kit because Liverpool play in red. And there's pictures in the front of that programme of two Benfica and two Liverpool players. One of the Liverpool players is Steven Gerrard. One of the Benfica players is Angel Di Maria, who I'm hoping is going to be playing tomorrow night. More on that later. But you can see, to me anyway, it's pretty clear that the strips aren't the same. They're all wearing their home kits in those photos, but they're not the same. The red is, if you go to Wikipedia, right, go to Wikipedia and get up the Benfica page, SL Benfica, look them up, look up Manchester United, look up Liverpool if you like, and then if you get the bit on the pages, the club information page, it's got the illustrations, the kind of cartoons if you like, of their home kits for this season, all supposed to be red. We'll get them all up together and compare them to each other. Benfica's is different. When the Benfica's women's team played the Rangers women's team at Ibrox in Europe last season, I went along to that one. Benfica are wearing the home top anyway, and they're wearing it with orange shorts, as the men's team did when we played them in the UEFA Cup behind closed doors, the Europa League, 3 seasons ago. I think the game at Ibrox, both teams wore their home shirts. So I'm hoping Benfica are going to do it tonight, tomorrow night, because they're wearing their away strips, and I saw them at Anfield. I want to see them wearing their home kits. And I'm looking at it going, no, that's definitely... It's almost a kind of blood orange, if that's not too pretentious. It's not exactly red, you know. I'm out the other night and I'm looking at the weather tonight, Glasgow. You might have noticed it yourself around about tea time. Looking at red sky at night, Shepherd's Delights, beautiful blue skies out there. I'm thinking, oh, that's symbolic, Rangers, and it's the white clouds are dotted about, and underneath them, it's crimson. No, that's kind of red, but it's not kind of pinkish almost. I thought, that's no actual red. And that was making me think even more symbolically, that's going to be Benfica. I'm saying to the wife, she's like, what the hell are you talking about? I'm like, it's no red. Aye, it is. All the boys at Gersnet, what are you talking about? I'm like, it's not, of course it's red. It's exactly the same as mine. It really isn't. And I'm thinking, is this just me? Is it because I'm always insisting that after both Milan clubs, after Barca and Real Madrid, Liverpool and Bayern, Benfica are the most glamorous club in Europe, and people are always going, what are you talking about? Because people have forgotten about their great European history in the early 1960s. And then tonight I'm sitting there and I'm watching the manager in the YouTube, Rangers official YouTube channel, and he's doing the pre-match presser, and he's wearing the Castor kit. And it's got the, what do you call them, epaulets, orange epaulets, grey tracksuit, orange epaulets. He's not wearing the kit, he's wearing the tracksuit. And he's got the orange scroll crest and the orange 5 stars, and then he's got the orange 32 red. It's 32 red, but it says it in orange. No, it's Stroop effect when a colour is written down, but the letters it's written in are of a different colour to the colour that it spells out. You know, it's Stroop effect, quite confusing. I thought, no, this is actually really symbolic for me. Behind them, you've got I noticed, of course, the Just Eat adverts. You've got the sponsors of the Europa League, and the Just Eat are there. They've got an orange advert. Was it Swiss Coats? There's a bit of orange in their advert. There's I can't remember the other stuff. TNT Sports, they've got a kind of pink circle behind the TNT. I thought that's kind of off red as well. And the actual livery, the official bunting of UEFA, their livery for the Europa League is orange. The Conference League is a lesser tournament that's green, I'm just saying, you know. I thought, yeah, this is it's a kind of orangey, there's something different about Benfica's red. And eventually I thought, well, don't just look at the pictures at Wikipedia, I actually start reading the thing as well. So I read it and it said their nickname is, one of the many nicknames for Benfica is Os Encarnados, or Encarnados. My Portuguese isn't as good as Michael Beale's, but it's something like Encarnados. And I thought, that doesn't, you know, in Italian it's Rosso, in German it's Rot, French it's Root. No, foreign words for red usually sound like a bit like red. Well, that seems a bit much. So I go to the old Google translator, Portuguese to English, Encarnados, reds. I thought, okay, right, fine. I'm reading on, and it says in the Wikipedia page, but they used to be called, is it Vermelhos? Os Vermelhos or O Vermelhos, which also means reds. And I put that into the translator, and it's, okay, it comes up as reds. But it's a different kind of red, different kind of word for red, and I thought, this is good. And it was because during the Spanish Civil War, taking place next door in the 1930s, a horrible war, Franco, big horrible bad fascist, he's taken control of Spain, same thing. Portugal, I think it was Salazar, he was a dictator, he only went in the 70s as well, same as Franco. Horrible stuff on the Iberian Peninsula, but it was banned. You can't call yourself the Reds because it sounded like the word Reds they used for commies, and it was the communists that were fighting. A lot of different people obviously were fighting the fascists, but they were always derided as communists and Reds, no Reds under the bed, that kind of nickname, so stop using that name. It was actually the government stopped them using it. I thought, so there's different kinds of reds. And I thought, what is Encarnados? It reminds me of one word in English. What is it? And I suddenly remembered. My Macbeth from, was it second year at school? You got Macbeth? Will all great Neptune's ocean wash this blood clean from my hand? No, this my hand would rather, the multitudinous seas incarnadine turning the green one red. I thought, okay, still talking about red there. But I looked up incarnadine in the dictionary, and it says crimson red, a light red, a pinkish red. I put incarnadine into the translator the other way around in Portuguese, encarnado. So there you go, vindicated. If you haven't switched off by now, then you're bigger into this game tomorrow night than I am. I'm vindicated. That's a message to all my haters out there, most of whom I'm related to or married to. It's been proven that it's not exactly a same red. It's not a straight red. So I don't mean that to trigger Hibs fans there. That was really unfair on Sunday there. I don't want to talk about straight reds, but it's not the same kind of red as Liverpool, as Manchester United. It's incarnadine. It's pink. It's off red. Anyway, another personal announcement is I just want to say thanks very much for all the congratulations cards, not everybody, all the messages from everybody. Really appreciate it. Really touching. I would have some of the cards behind me, but they don't exist because I've made that up. But what it is, this is my 40th season. I'm currently in my 40th season watching Rangers in Europe. I went to my first European game. It was in November 1984. That's a ticket behind me, it's a kind of yellow ticket up the top there, framed with 3 other European tickets. Rangers against Internazionale of Milan, and we won 3-1 on the night. Get put out, 4-3 on aggregate. Had to think about that there. Arithmetic not a strong point. We lost the away leg 3-0. And that was quite epic, but the game before that, I loved it, absolutely loved that game. It totally sealed my fate. That's me, that's the reason you've had to listen to this garbage I'm talking. You can do all the stuff about the team. What is it? Ross McCausland is a doubt. Todd Cantwell is back. He's in the squad. We don't know if he's going to start or not. He's not going to last 90 minutes according to the manager. And Dujon Sterling is definitely out, but he might be fit in time for Dundee on Sunday. So yeah, that's just team news. I'll throw that in there. But I'm just like a one-man pep rally, really, when it comes to these European games. I'm not getting the pom-poms out. I'm not wearing the Rara skirt, despite all your requests. But I think I saw this European game, first European game, November 1984, Rangers against Inter, absolutely captivated me. I thought it was just something beautiful about it. And the game before that, though, the last tie that Rangers played to get us into that game against Inter in the UEFA Cup. No, this competition we're playing in tomorrow night was against Bohemians of Dublin. So the last time I wasn't involved with Rangers in Europe, the last time I was still a European virgin with Rangers, we were playing Bohemians in Dublin. We've played Bohemians twice. We've only played in Dublin twice, and we lost. We drew the first time, get beat the second time. We went through in both ties, both against Bohemians, both at Dalymount Park, but we've never won there. So that's not a very nice omen. But I'm thinking to myself, does this mean I'm going to bookend the first time I went to a European game? It's my 40th. The tie before that was Dublin. That was the last time I wasn't involved with Rangers in Europe. Does this mean because the final's in Dublin this season, I'll have to get there? that we are going to get there? It's written in the stars that way? Or does it mean, no, you're going to bookend it by not getting to Dublin this season? Ireland, that's your 40 years really kind of symmetrically sorted out. I don't know how it's going to work at all. 67, Lisbon 67. 67th minute last week in Lisbon. That's when we equalised against ourselves by Connor Goldson scored. That's when Benfica scored against us. The last goal scored in this tie so far. The next game we played was just off Easter Rising Road against Hibernian. We're at Hibernian's home ground. Hibernian, the Roman word for the Irish. Today it was the Queen Mother Chase was won by Captain Guinness. Now that's a combination of the Royals and Guinness for Ireland, this kind of thing. There's another one. I've got another one. Obviously, it's a road to Dublin tomorrow. Roma. Roma are still in this competition. They look like they're going to go through it in the next round. If we do go through, we're going to go to the Vatican City as well. The fan zone when we play in the semi-finals against Roma and the quarter-finals is going to be, St. Peter's Square. I don't know. I mean, the Lords have a team. Are they playing the Europa League this season? We're going to get them next round. It's quite unbelievable. There's a few coincidences. It just feels as if the multitude in the seas in Carnadine making the green one red. I know Dublin actually means Blackpool, I think, doesn't it? In your old Irish, but I think it's pretty fair to say everybody thinks of the colour green, strip effect, when they see in to do with Dublin making the green one red. We're up against Benfica, who apparently are some kind of red. Liverpool, they're practically through already. The mighty Reds, they're practically through against Sparta Prague, who play in maroon, kind of off red. Slavia Prague are still in it officially. They're half red. Their strips really, really red and white. They're against the Rossoneri of Milan. The Giallo Rossi of Roma are still in this tournament as well, making the green one red. UEFA are all worried about Rangers fans turning up in Dublin. Croke Park is a fan park for the kit. But I think it's actually, it sounds like we're going to make the green one red. It's going to get turned red this final in Dublin. That's the kind of part you're getting off me tonight because I can't talk about proper European history. But I feel as if while UEFA are worrying about whether they're hoping it's going to be an Atalanta Qarabag final. I mean, if we go to Croke Park as a fan zone while Rangers are playing in Lansdowne Road. I remember watching England rugby team because I was when the Aviva Stadium was getting built, when Lansdowne Road was getting transformed. The England rugby team, the rugby union team in the 5 Nations, 6 Nations, whatever it is now, they had to play Republic of Ireland in Croke Park. That was the only venue big enough. So it's not, did I say Republic of Ireland? In the Republic of Ireland, sorry. Ireland rugby team, a lot of extremely staunch friends of mine, heavily into the Ireland rugby team. That is not in any way the Republic of Ireland. It's a completely different thing. Sorry about that. Apologies. There's too much talk of Dublin and stuff like that. But they were playing Ireland in Dublin, the England rugby team, and the Irish crowd completely respected. It's just the difference in class. Obviously, it's the same over there, the social status, whatever. They completely respected God Save the Queen. This is the heartland. You know what happened at Croke Park, what makes it holy, basically, and certainly the headquarters of Irish Republican sporting intent, or whatever you want to call it. And there was God Save the Queen getting belted out and sung over there as part, and they totally respected it, and then gave the most spine-tingling rendition of the Republic of Ireland national anthem you've ever heard in your entire life. That was quite something else. But Rangers go there. It's not just that Jack Butland isn't just potentially going to be the England goalkeeper again, having already been England goalkeeper. He was goalkeeper for Great Britain. Anyway, I'm talking too much about the final. So while UEFA are worrying that it's going to be, or hoping it's going to be Qarabag against Atalanta to make things easier to manage in the final, I'm going to think about FIFA. And again, personal matter, thanks very much for all the good luck cards. Everybody wishing me good luck, Alec, all the best, and sending me the flowers and the bouquets and that kind of thing. In fact, I would have some of them up there, but I'm making this up, they don't actually exist, because I'm going to see Angel Di Maria tomorrow night. He's going to be playing, and he has scored in that World Cup final. He scored in that World Cup final 15 months ago in the very first European match I went to, Inter at Ibrox. The very first European away goal I saw scored at Ibrox. The first visiting team I saw scoring was Inter, and their goal was scored by Alessandro Altobelli, who 2 years earlier had scored in the World Cup final for Italy, and I was utterly thrilled. Karl-Heinz Rummenigge hit the woodwork in that game. And 2 years later, when he scored in the 1986 World Cup final in the Azteca, I wished that he'd actually scored against us, because we went out anyway. I saw Andres Iniesta scoring for Spain against Scotland in the Euro 2012 qualifiers at Hampden. That was the first goal he'd scored for his country since scoring the winner in the 2010 World Cup final. Or was it Zidane, the European Cup, the Champions League final at Hampden, where Zidane scored that spectacular volley against Bayer Leverkusen, and he scored the 2006 and 1998 World Cup final. I was over in the Nou Camp when we played Barcelona in the 2007-2008 Champions League. I saw Messi scoring, and he scored in that final 15 months ago, twice for Argentina. Who else? There's somebody else scored. Oh, Rudi Voller. Rudi Voller, he scored in the 86 World Cup final in the Azteca for Germany against Argentina, and I saw him scoring twice, 2 different games for Marseille in the space of a few months each other. A friendly at Ibrox in 1992, and then the first ever Champions League match played. The first ever night in the Champions League, Rudi Voller scores against us at Ibrox, so that was too much of a good thing. But so I would like to add Angel Di Maria. I've got 6 guys. I can't get to World Cup. You're not going to get to World Cup final. I'm not going to get to World Cup final. I've been to the opening match of the World Cup. That was quite interesting in Germany, but Scotland are never going to get to World Cup final, and if they did, my loyalty with the Tartan Army, the travel club or whatever, isn't at the point where I'm going to get a ticket for the World Cup final. So I'm never going to get to one. The best thing I can manage is seeing guys who have scored in the World Cup final scoring live in a game that I can attend. You get a kind of visceral, a vicarious thing. A vicarious association with the biggest game in world football. So tomorrow night, if it's 0-0 and it looks like we're heading for penalties, and then Angel Di Maria, who basically scored one that he'd set up for himself as well, and set up the second goal via Connor Goldson last week. If he gets his first goal at Ibrox in that game tomorrow night, and there's a kind of big fat bald guy in the main stand suddenly jumps up. Don't punch me too hard. I couldn't help it. It's an anorak hit. What's probably going to happen is he'll get injured or something like that. He'll have to pull out the game, or he'll miss an absolute sitter. He'll get a penalty and he'll miss it this time. And Rangers will win 5-0. Usually I'll be going absolutely mental, and I'll be sitting in my seat giving it, I hate this. I didn't get to see Angel Di Maria score. So I want to add another one to my collection. That's what a way to think about it. If Angel Di Maria scores more, that's your consolation. You've seen a guy who scored in the World Cup final scoring live in the flesh. If you're at the game, obviously. I should probably talk about the game, shouldn't I? Nah, what the hell. I'm just going to talk generally. We think there's been a few... It's definitely changed. Something's definitely changed under Clement. He's been absolutely fantastic in 2024. Fantastic. It's been fantastic since the moment he arrived, but we were winning every single game. Then we had that 5-0 win over Hearts while we were top of the league. That just seemed, this is fantastic. Nothing can go wrong from now on. And I'm standing outside Ibrox, and I said, it's too early. I'm doing a post-match reaction pod after that game. It's too early for the Mary J. Blige stuff, for the cathartic stuff, for us all to be congratulating ourselves and say, well, finally, we're back on top and we can all start crying. Don't be listening to any Mary J. Blige. You're still in Mariah Carey territory. We want cheery stuff. Musically, it's not as good, but you want cheery stuff. And what did I do? At the end of that pod, I then go and recommend a Mary J. Blige song, because I'm thinking, you want to be dancing tonight. It's a Saturday night. I get on down to Mary J. Blige. I'd advise you to look up Be Happy. Get that on YouTube. Be Happy. A song which is basically saying, all I really want is to be happy. That's clinical depression. When your only ambition is to be happy, that's the most depressed, cathartic, kind of deep. So I'm just so used to listening to Mary J. Blige that I forget how much her stuff is. So I've actually went ahead with the Mary J. Blige at the very moment I've said it's too early for that. And next thing, we go to Kilmarnock and we concede the first goal, and we're looking pretty bad. We end up winning the game. That was fantastic, but we lose Cortez, who's been fantastic. The following game, we get beaten by Motherwell. We equalise against Motherwell, but they take the lead and then they score the winner. We can't do anything about it. We actually get beat the first defeat of 2024. The first time we haven't won a game under Clement in 2024. That's me going with the Mary J. Blige far too early. But I started listening to Mariah's Stay the Night, and I would advise you get on that. Emancipation of Mimi. It's on YouTube. I think it's maybe the 5th track. Kanye West, one of the producers, but don't let that bother you. It's actually a really good track, and it's Mariah. She's not a great singer. I know she could hit the high notes, but she's Stay the Night. She's kind of shouting the main lyric in that. But it's a really good musically. It's fun. It's light. Get onto that. Too early for the Mary J. Blige stuff, and that's pulled things back. We go over to Lisbon, and there's a couple of equalisers. We take the lead a couple of times, and we suffer a couple of equalisers, but it's not as bad as losing, to Motherwell, is it? And then on Sunday, we go to Easter Road, and it's a maelstrom. The stuff that Hibs were up to was absolutely horrendous. They lost the plot completely, and we just were fully focused, total concentration, absolutely professional, got the job done, and looked like a team who would not be beat. And we're really on it. So we've got ourselves back to the I think a lot of people thought in the real world it was nothing to do with Mariah Carey and Mary J. Blige. It might be something to do with Philip Clement rotating too much, playing Borna at Kilmarnock had a nightmare. And I think the game against Motherwell in particular, we made 4 changes to the starting lineup, and then it had a knock-on effect on how the players that had already played at Kilmarnock, the players that started at Kilmarnock, about 3 of them I think were having to change positions, so that was too many changes. And there we go, on Sunday there, I don't know if it's the first time Clement has done it, but it must be the first time this year, and it'll be the second time at best in his whole time at Rangers that he's played the same starting 11 2 games in a row. And you can see the focus, you can see Rangers are just growing in confidence. And that's quite interesting, especially when Neil Warnock's obviously resigned, because he knows there's problems there. He can smell there's a chance he's still going to get that job. So he's hanging about free agent, just waiting to jump in there in case it starts going really wrong for Clement. But I don't think it is. We want to get to the international break intact. And this is one of this. It's not even a subplot. I think it's actually become the main thing for a lot of Rangers fans with this game tomorrow night. We're not thinking about the fact we're playing Benfica in Europe. We're thinking about, do we really want to progress in this tie? Do we really want to go on in this competition? Maybe we should concentrate in the league. How's it going to affect our injuries? I think that's an absolute amazing question, especially now we've got a semi-final with Hearts coming up in the Scottish Cup, and that's going to be a tough game. But for me, we're here anyway. It doesn't matter what you're thinking about. We're here anyway. We're playing Benfica tomorrow night. We can't go back and get beat. I mean, we're in this tie. We can't get back and finish bottom of the group and make sure we're not in Europe after Christmas. We cannot go back to last weekend and lose to Hibs to make sure we're not got a Scottish Cup semi-final coming up. We can't go back and lose to Ayr United or Dumbarton to make sure we're not going on in the Scottish Cup. And we've got Dundee at Dens Park at 12 noon on Sunday, and it doesn't matter to even Benfica could win this game 3 or 4 nothing tomorrow night. They've got the players they have got, Neves, Di Maria. You saw enough of them. The guy Rafa Silva, he's a phenomenally tricky little player. He scored against us the last time we played them back in the 2020-2021 season. He scored over in Lisbon against us. He's a phenomenally tricky player. We saw remember the way they played us that night at Ibrox. The return leg that finished 2 each. Although it was a group stage, and we're 2-0 up in that game as well, and Benfica were 2 goals up, and Benfica come back. We were 2-0 at like 20 minutes to go, they come back with 10 minutes to go. It was all square, and I think the way they played that night actually made you quite grateful that they'd waited that late to score their goals, because they could quite easily have put 4 or 5 passes. They were really starting to warm up. So I think it's the same thing applies just now. They've got such quality, they've got so much more money than us, and that's been invested in their squad, that there's every chance that this could go completely wrong. So we have to give it absolutely everything. Our team has to knacker themselves tomorrow night, especially with the lack of depth in their squad now, just to keep it respectable. Never mind going through it going through the quarterfinals of the Europa League. And we have to go to so we are going to be knackered whatever happens when we go to Dens midday on Sunday. That's an equally strange kick-off. That's more strange than 5:45 on a Thursday night. We're going to be knackered, we're going to be leggy, so we at least need the momentum, we at least need the kind of lightness of thought, lightness of spirit that comes with winning a massive European tie. We need to go in there on a buzz to make up for the fact that our legs are going to be absolutely killing us. So it's too late. It's too late at this point in time. We can think about who do we want to get beat off in the quarterfinals, and how heavy a beating do we want, depending on who we come up against then. But just now, we've just got to do this. We've got to keep going. And I think it's beyond that. Even people who are thinking, but Champions League, if we concentrate on the league and we win the league, that gives us access to the Champions League. We get straight into that Champions. Why do you want to do that? Well, there's more money. You get more money, so to buy new players, better players. But why do you want to do that? Or to win the league again, right? That's great. But why do you want to do that? To get into Europe and play massive European ties. You've got one tomorrow night or tonight if you're listening to this pod. After midnight, Benfica at Ibrox. There's not many bigger ties you're going to get in Europe. This is utterly glamorous, utterly gorgeous. It's a prize in itself, and I so badly want Rangers to win tomorrow night. What this would do for the confidence of our club, the confidence of this team we've got, the confidence of our manager, who has never been to a European quarter-final. Again, brutal patter today. He knows exactly that he's never been to a European quarter-final as a manager. I don't think he's actually been to the last 16. I don't know if he's been beyond the round of 32, quite frankly. Bruges, Monaco and Genk, but he's been right through all the stages up to that point in all the various ways you can, via the Champions League, through the qualifying rounds of the Europa League. So he's definitely up for this, taking his team on. But I just feel as if Benfica, 10 European finals they've been in. If we were to go the way to Dublin this season, it would be 6 European finals for us. We're on 5 European finals. There's only so many teams. I study this. I'm obsessed with this. I'm obsessed with European finals. There's like 103 different teams have been to UEFA, or the Fairs Cup wasn't the UEFA, but they've been to European club finals as we currently know them. I've seen like 73 of them in the flesh. I'll go to different countries sometimes to tick them off the list, and there's so many have only been to 1 European final, 2 European finals. Rangers are getting to that situation where 5 European finals is pretty impressive. 6 is going to be something else. We've got Calvin Bassey didn't cost us hardly any money, so to speak, double negatives there, Alec. But in Ridvan Yilmaz, we've got the same thing as Bassey in that second season genius shown through. Calvin Bassey was a joke in his first season. It was a bomb scare. Second season, we just watched him slowly improving and becoming frighteningly good. The same thing's happened with Ridvan Yilmaz right in front of our eyes. We don't have Joe Aribo just now, but in young Fabio Silva, I think we've got the same kind of thing. He did his growing up. He's been going to Feyenoord or sort of PSV Eindhoven, various places on loan. He's been at Wolves. He's doing his growing up at other clubs. He's only been here a couple of months, but you can see that he's starting to hit proper class form. The same way Joe Aribo did during the 55 season, really. I know we've got injuries, but Joe Aribo was our main striker in the Europa League final in 2022. We had injuries there. We were knackered during that run as well. We were playing in too many fronts, but it was great fun. You're being honest. You're trying to win every tournament that you're playing in. I always want that from Rangers. I don't want us copping out of something early so we're guaranteed to win something else, because apart from anything else, you're not guaranteed to win anything. Our manager arrived mid-season, Philip Clement. Well, so did Gio that season. Gio arrived, was it October, November that Gio stepped in? And Gio came in on the day of the League Cup semi-final and couldn't officially take over until the following day, so it was too late for him to do anything at that League Cup doing. We got off Hibs. The current manager came in before the League Cup semi-final and he won it and he won the final, so he's already got a trophy behind him. He's already got more momentum. He is top of the league. Gio was always chasing Celtic, really. Well, no, he kind of threw it away, didn't he? But he threw it away kind of February time. Our manager has got us going top of the league March time. So we've actually got more momentum. I think the depth of the competition this time is greater, but not much probably. Liverpool are right now they're top 3, probably top 2 in the world. The English Premier League, the money's ridiculous, the players they've got are ridiculous. Whoever wins the Premier, Manchester United are champions of Europe at this moment in time. Whoever wins that league this season is effectively the best team in the world. Brighton took a scalping off Roma, but Brighton, just through being what they did in that league last season, were one of the best teams in Europe without ever having played in Europe, kind of thing. So you've got West Ham, who won a European trophy last season. Liverpool with the Champions League final the season before that. We were in a European final that season. Liverpool have only been in a European final a few days more recently than us. I don't think we should be embarrassed about the company we're keeping. I don't think we should be worried about it. And I think tomorrow night, Benfica can go one of 2 ways. They won 3-1 at the weekend against Estoril, who are kind of bottom of the table dwellers, minnows in Portugal, and their kind of Union Bears had the banner out. I think it was in German. I don't know if it's Vielen Dank, but Vielen Dank doch. Auf Wiedersehen. It was thank you but good night, basically, to the manager, Roger Schmidt. He's German. They were telling him to get lost. I never saw it myself, and apologies for the terrible translation, but they're under pressure. We heard them getting booed when they were struggling against us last week when we were playing them off the park at times in their home stadium. They might actually enjoy just being away from the Stadium of Light and playing somewhere else where they're not expected to do anything with it, or the majority of the crowd are against them. Maybe help them concentrate in the game, or if we can get in about them, as they say, and we have eyebrows absolutely bouncing, they might crack. They might actually crack and just want to give up. They kind of subliminally want to get rid of the manager, as we saw happening under Michael Beale, under Gio towards the end of his reign, where the players just suddenly can't do it anymore because they've had enough. Even if they're trying to, they just can't manage it. We should be in there and we should be taking advantage of this. If Rangers got to, I don't know why I keep talking about the final, I realise it's tempting fate, but I think it's because so many Rangers fans are thinking we need to drop this. We need to drop Europe in order to win the league. I've outlined why we can't do that just now, why it would affect us ahead of Dundee on Sunday, which is really vital in terms of winning the league. But I also think the idea, if you be guaranteed that if you get beaten one competition, you will win the other one between the league and the Europa League, I would drop the SPFL Premiership every day of the week. Give me the Europa League. Make it the first Scottish team to win 2 European trophies. The first Scottish team to win 2 different European trophies. The Super Cup doesn't count, sorry, Aberdeen. That would be absolutely unbelievable. And I think we're already the premier Scottish club in Europe of the lot. Since Celtic reached the 1970 European Cup final. Since then, like 54 years, Rangers, like Aberdeen, we both won the Cup Winners' Cup in that time. But what else have Aberdeen done in Europe? They got to the semi-finals the following season, and then that was it for them. There were a couple of group stages appearances, I think. We are a goal away from the Champions League final, stuff like that. Then what we've been doing in Europe since Gerrard arrived in the Europa League has been phenomenal, especially in this day and age. The difference there is between Scotland and the top European countries in terms of income, basically the money they can make, the players they've got. It's unbelievable that the Rangers got to a European final. But the idea that we could win a second, that would just transform everything. It would transform the power balance. It would almost destroy Celtic. Their support would just implode. Trying to talk about the '67 European Cup and then realising that they were saying Europe was more important than domestic stuff. So suddenly their 5 trebles don't mean anything. It would get them in a real tangle. I just feel as if it should be Europe all the time, but we can't guarantee that, and we might not have any problems. It might not be anything to worry about. Benfica might give us a total doing, as I say, but I think it's really strange how much of the attention is how winning is going to affect our schedule going forward, as on winning the game itself. But I think the fact that Philippe Clement, it's because of the injuries as well, but the fact that Philippe Clement has got so many injuries, and on Sunday he more or less said yet again that it's Michael Beale's fault, the way he'd failed to prepare during the close season. He's overheating the engine of these players who didn't get a proper service. They didn't get the MOT and the service during the summer that they needed, and he's constantly overheating them. That's why they're all breaking down, these Rangers players, because they must come up to the speeds he's demanding of them. But they're all doing it. That's the thing. Nobody's giving it, I'm just going to take it easy and no bother with what the manager's saying because, I don't want to get myself injured. They're all doing it. These players are all overheating themselves because this manager must have a way of getting the best out of them, and they all want to play for him. And that in itself, he must be a fantastic motivator. And he obviously is just full steam ahead, and he's the kind of manager that Rangers absolutely need, and it's all about winning everything. The early kick-off, it's quite a weird thing, I suppose, kicking off at tea time. Benfica once, the third time they played in the European Cup final when the curse of Bella Gutmann, see the previous pod, when that came in and it meant they weren't going to win it. They lost to Milan. That's played at Wembley. It was a 3 o'clock kick-off on a Wednesday because of the Dugs. I'm pretty sure it's because of the Wembley also had Dug racing, the Greyhounds, every night. And they're like, I will take the European Cup final, but the Dugs are on. The punters want the Dugs. There's 200 folk who could to gamble hard. It's kind of 7:30 to 10:30 every Wednesday night. The final was only 45,000 there at Wembley for that one. Benfica against Milan in the Champions League final, the European Cup final as it was then. But I remember Motherwell playing against Borussia Dortmund. It was the game where Dortmund got really interested in Paul Lambert. That was like 3 o'clock on a Wednesday for German TV. This is back in the mid-90s, so it could have been worse. And I don't know, I was thinking maybe it wouldn't be sold out if we hadn't got a good result in the first leg. It wouldn't be sold out, especially at £46 a ticket tomorrow night. And I was a bit worried thereafter when we did get the result. Maybe it's not going to be liquid enough. The crowd's not going to be inebriated enough, relaxed enough to create the kind of atmosphere we need to push this game home. But people are taking the whole day off because that whole thing, the school buses are only going to be turned into supporters buses in time, so they're going to have to take the whole day off to get. So folk are going to be drinking all day. It's actually going to be a better atmosphere, I would imagine, and it's our turn anyway. I mean, we've done really well to get away with this. West Ham are kicking off at 5:45 tomorrow night as well. We've done really well to all these years in the Europa League. We've not had this kind of kick off at Ibrox, so I'm absolutely fine with it. And I think it might actually make the atmosphere even better. And it means if it goes to extra time with penalties, you're still going to be home in time for news at 10. But I think we're in the Sinead O'Connor zone, and I mean that because she just couldn't help herself. Sinead O'Connor could not help herself when it came to, I'm not trying to be sectarian again, there's so many things you can get wrong, ripping up pictures of the Pope and stuff like that. I'm not referring to that in any way. I'm referring to, again, it's YouTube. I live my life through YouTube. There's footage, if you look it up, it's TFI Friday. Remember that was a horrendous programme? Chris Evans, it's kind of half talk show, half concert, and for a laugh you have Dave Stewart of the Eurythmics. He's on doing just like acoustic stuff. He's not got the synthesizers on it. He's not got Annie Lennox, who amazingly, I thought it was amazingly apt that she did the tribute to Sinead O'Connor, because Sinead O'Connor's dead. I can't believe it. She's dead. That's terrible. And Annie Lennox did the tribute to her at the Emmys She sang Nothing Compares to You, a Prince song, but Annie Lennox has got she's got the tear, on her face, drawn on her face to symbolise the fact that Sinead O'Connor, during that video, the famous video for Nothing Compares to You, which made it #1, she's crying. She's miming the lyrics, but she's genuinely crying because she can't help giving it everything. The focus we had on Sunday at Easter Road, the focus we had in Lisbon, Rangers they're on it. They've got that look about them that I can't help myself. I need to, I don't exist unless I'm out there performing. And TFI Friday, I thought it's so appropriate with the Annie Lennox thing. Annie Lennox isn't there, she's away on a solo tour probably. Dave Stewart is just strumming it and he's got these 3 backing singers, and because it's TFI Friday, it's a pre-pub kind of programme, it's meant to be a laugh. It's Natalie Imbruglia, Kylie Minogue and Sinead O'Connor, and they've all got wigs on and they've got they're dressed up kind of 60s backing singers, they've got like ball gowns and what have you on, and apart from Sinead O'Connor wearing a wig and the ball gown looks sensational. She just can't help looking absolutely $1 million. As Annie Lennox does in the Love is a Stranger, not the video, but the one where she's, 2 women that were known for looking fantastic with their hair totally cropped. It's a terrible thing, judgment and what have you, but it was something people just didn't understand about them. But they looked at me, and here they were, when they actually do themselves up the other way, could go completely the other way. Annie Lennox wears it's in Synth Britannia, when it's on BBC 4, they show Love is a Stranger, and it's Dave Stewart, 2 of them, Dave Stewart's on the synth, and she's standing there with the ball gown and the black wig on, and just living that song, absolutely living it. And Sinead O'Connor in almost the same outfit, just red, scarlet, and Carnadine doing the same stuff. And it's a laugh. She's having a laugh. She's enjoying this thing. They nickname themselves. What's it, the backing singers there? It's something like a drunk and a floozy and an unfit mother. She calls herself unfit mother. That's the nickname she gives herself. It's horrendous. Absolutely tragic, but you can see she's genuinely enjoying having a laugh and all that, and because she poured so much into her songs, folk are like, oh, Sinead O'Connor's having a laugh. And then, so they do a wee song, a kind of warm up, and it's a good laugh, they're all giggling away and what have you, and it's great fun, and you're thinking, it's great to see Sinead O'Connor totally enjoying herself. And then they go back to Chris Evans, they come back, and it's Love is a Stranger. And there's no synthesizers there. Dave Stewart's just doing Love is a Stranger. No, it's Sweet Dreams, He's just doing it on the guitar, strumming it out, and his female backing singers, they kind of come in. But when it gets to the point where they've actually got to sing the lyrics, the proper lyrics of the sort of, when they get to the chorus, they get to the heavy verses, Kylie Minogue and Natalie Imbruglia, who are entertainers, they know they've just got to step back. And they step back, and Sinead O'Connor takes over, and she's smiling and laughing, and she just rips the whole place to pieces. It's unbelievable. It's a phenomenal performance. The emotion behind it, she can't help herself. She just can't help herself, and that's the thing. She only exists when she's doing that. And I saw it before with Rangers 92, 93. The old esprit de corps were so busy concentrating and beating Leeds in that playoff game that we forgot what it was all about. We forgot that we were constantly under pressure to do something in Europe, because we kept winning the league and everybody hated us for that. And we concentrated in a derby. And once we got through there, it was like, oh, this is, rarefied air. We've not been here for a while this late on in Europe, and they just enjoyed themselves in the first ever Champions League, and they nearly got to the final. We were a goal away from the final. And I saw it in Walter's second coming, where the 4 full seasons that he was there during the second coming, we won 2 of the major Scottish trophies in each of those 4 seasons. And 3 of those occasions, one of those trophies was the league title. We got to a European final. We're constantly in the Champions League. And the ones that we didn't win across those 4 seasons, we were getting put out by a last-minute goal in a replay at Tannadice midweek, or were 9 men against Celtic at Parkhead, just losing by the odd goal. They couldn't help performing to their best all the time, giving it everything. That's why I don't really care. I know it's a terrible thing to say. Of course I care if Rangers win trophies, but we go out there tomorrow night and we give it our all. That's all you can ask. And this Rangers team are starting to look like they're no thinking, there's no kind of lip service played to, oh, we better make sure we're going to give it our all, we're going to give it maximum effort, blah, blah, blah. They're ready to give maximum effort. I think you tire yourself out by talking about how much effort you're going to give something. You do it or you don't. And Rangers are in that do it zone right now, and you deserve this, folks. Anybody who's going to the game tomorrow, even if you're watching it on television, I would just urge you to, whatever happens, enjoy it. If you're going to the game, stay behind. Whatever the result, applaud that team off the park. Give them the round of applause they deserve, because what we're doing in Europe, the 4 times we got into the Europa League group stages under Steven Gerrard, first couple of seasons by miracles of qualification, going through so many qualification rounds, And by the fourth time, it was a booby prize. Dropped out of the Champions League qualifiers straight into it. Those kind of made up almost for the 4 seasons in the lower leagues. But then we played Dortmund, but there was much more than that we needed to take care of. There was much more catharsis required. And we played Dortmund, and we beat them 4-2 in the Westfalen, and that's, as I say, it's the best pound-for-pound performance I've ever seen from a Rangers team. That was Alloa in the Challenge Cup. We were 2-0 up with 20 minutes to go, and they beat us 3-2. That wiped that out, that evened that out, that balanced that out. When we got to the UEFA Cup final in 2008, we were totally overperforming. In the following season, we went out in the very first round to Kaunas, the Minnows of Kaunas, totally embarrassing result. We were completely out of all European competition at the very first hurdle. That was Newton's third law of motion. We'd overachieved the previous season. We get brought back straight down to earth the following season to kind of balance things out. It's the opposite just now. We spent 4 years in the lower leagues, and we spent another 2 years being embarrassed in the top flight until Steven Gerrard arrived. And this is our 6th season of Europa League greatness. I worry that it's going to come to an end. It could be this game against Benfica. If it is, this is why I'm talking about it so much, I think. Sorry, I've run over far too long again with these videos. People are going to just be switching off in their droves. I'm sorry about this. But I would urge you all to really enjoy it, this massive night, because it could end again. When we beat Dortmund that night, that cancelled out that particular game. That was one game that came to mind, that horrendous night at Alloa, when you're just trying to get to the Challenge Cup final and somehow managed to mess that up, and it's really embarrassing. Different kind of yellow-black teams. And then the next game we played, that was the round of 32. We didn't play it in this season. The next game we played was the last 16, and we were at home to Red Star Belgrade. We won the home game 3-0. I don't know. Who knows? But I think this season, the equivalent, we didn't play in the round of 32 because the last game we played was another epic, another massive milestone, a fantastic result. Our first ever win in Spain against Real Betis in Seville, some catharsis from the city of Seville. And I think we're at the point where we're almost starting to cancel out all the stuff that happened to us in the lower leagues. We're getting back to that equilibrium. And I would love it if we could go on all the way and win the Europa League this season. I don't think that will happen, but I really think we need to win tomorrow night. And even if we don't, as I say, really enjoy it, folks. And I'll be on Friday night with Craig. If I've got anything left to say, I'm going to have so much more to say. No Portuguese club has ever won at Ibrox, and I'm touching wood as I say that. Benfica are totally under pressure. They could collapse, they could enjoy it, but I just want you to know exactly what we're doing tomorrow night, as if you don't already, and totally enjoy yourselves. And I'll see you on the other side.